Hello guys and welcome again to another chapter of El Sótano del Brujo. Today, after seeing some of the questions that you have been sending me and some of the replies from my friends and some of the other people that I follow on YouTube and Reddit, some of them were asking me about what kind of things I use when I play online. I said, you know what? I'm going to make like a small video so that I can explain to others what I use. I mean, it might be helpful to some of you or not, but I think that for people that are starting into VDTs or virtual tabletops, this is information that I believe will come extremely in handy. Okay, so okay, let me minimize this here. Where can I start? Like I was talking in my last video when I was talking about some of the tools that I use, and I think this video will be Tools of the Trade Part 2, about me playing into VDTs or virtual tabletops. My preferred platform, and this is just me, is Roll20. I mean, there are several others, like I mentioned before, and well, for me, Roll20 has been like a very good platform. I mean, I know there are others. I have tried some of them, but I think that my group and the people that I play with, they are more used to it right now. I mean, you have to. I have to give you like a bit of background, okay? I have been playing for what, like 25, 26 years, and with my friends, like a solid group of about 10 people. Usually, I had to stop playing with them when I had to leave my country for a lot of reasons. No point in retelling them here. I'm Venezuelan. I'm part of the Venezuelan exodus, so to speak, and so are my friends. And there was a point when I had to leave my country, and that was like back in 2010. And well, I came to Panama, and I had to begin playing with people here, And the community here is quite fun. It's quite open, but I miss playing with my friends, and also I was feeling a bit homesick. Okay, and so I tried to play with them using some of the earlier tools that we had, like it was like Skype, and it was more or less a bit of a success, but I always kept in touch with them and played online with other games in MMORPGs or online games. But like I said before, this past year, I think I have finally fully migrated to online playing with my friends in VDTs and in particular in Roll20. And well, we are all a group of guys that are, I mean, the youngest guy in the group is like 30 something. We're a bit old. And well, some of them, they are not very very prone to change, to love changes. Okay, so it was a bit of a hassle for me to try to force them to play online. Okay, and whereas some of the other guys, well, they actually felt right away extremely comfortable with the whole idea of playing online in Roll20. So one thing led to another, and I mean, I'm finally stuck in Roll20. And if you're playing it or you plan to play online, I personally believe that Roll20 is very easy to get. It has a lot of tools, and I mean, you can get like a free subscription, and the free subscription lets you play with I think that one dungeon master and 4 or 5 people. Don't remember right now. But my friends, all of them, we all pool our resources, and then we bought like a pro subscription with me as the DM. And when they wanted to play something in particular, they bought the original core book so that they can be used within the Roll20 platform. And right now that we are playing, for example, that we are playing 5th edition, D&D 5th edition, and the 5th edition. Well, it has been quite seamlessly to integrate all of these or books within the campaign for them. As they pull resources, and every once in a while they buy one book or another book or this book. But to be honest, I started in a completely free subscription, and it ran extremely well. So there's no need to buy a pro subscription. But what I'm going to talk about is some of the benefits of having a pro subscription. The Roll20 is not paying me, or I'm endorsing anything. I'm just talking about my own experiences. And hey, I actually like it a lot, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, once you decide to buy a subscription, you get like a lot of goodies. There are two tiers of subscription, which is like, I think there's like the pro and the developer. Honestly, I don't mind that much, because all of my friends, they are the ones handling that part of the subscription. They usually just use, how it is. Okay, we're going to give you this subscription, and that's it. But I think I have the top tier, which is the developer. That particular tier, just to show you what you can get if you can get your friends to pull for a subscription on that tier, is that you can get to play with API scripts. And I mean, I don't use many of those, but they are quite helpful when you play. And I'm going to show you what I use, because a lot of people were asking me what kind of things I use within Roll20. And I hope this shows you some of the things that you can get when playing. And I believe they are aimed to make your actual game within the platform, to be much more smoother and much more fun. Now, I'm going to show you. Look, this is Roll20, right? This is me. Okay, these are all my players currently playing right here in this particular game. This is just a dummy, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I use within my games. You can see here, for example, this particular setting, which is called API scripts. It's something that I truly like. I'm going to show you what I use for them. Now, these are some of the scripts that I have installed for it, and this particular one is one I truly enjoy, and I completely recommend to you guys. It's called Group Initiative. And well, all of these are the ones that I use. Okay, I use the OGL companion, I use the turn marker, I use the group check, I use the group initiative, the token mod, the color remote, the status effects, and the token fate. I really use this a lot. I mean, there are many more scripts, but I feel that this particular set of scripts are something that is much more than enough for me and the way I play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to show you some of the scripts that I have, so that you can see how they look within the game. Now, this is my, if you have played Roll20 before, this will be familiar to you. But I have I'm going to show you some of the wonders that the API scripts can do for your style of play. I mean, this was my yesterday's session. This is how it ended, and I'm going to show you some of the goodies that I have, that API scripts let me have. For example, now in the last session, my group of players were fighting this particular monster, this unique boss. Just to say it was a Marilith, and it was especially. Well, I mean, it's dead right now, but let's stop. Let's make it stop being dead. Just for the sake. I mean, it's just cosmetic, but okay. But now they were playing against this particular Marilith. It is a bit bigger and than the standard Marilith, because this is like some of the things that I like to call my particular made-up monsters. I mean, one of the things that I really enjoy about Roll20 is that just having the base monsters that the monster manual gives you, you can literally edit them and make them more deadly. I mean, for example, this is I mean, I want to talk about a lot of things, but this is something that I know that some of you might enjoy. For example, my players, which are really level 12, 13. I mean, you can search for a Marilith, for example. You can literally, when you buy the monster manual, you can literally drag and drop it here. Okay, see, this is a regular Marilith. And I should have like a Marilith here as well within my... Okay, this is a Marilith. This is how a dungeon master sees it. I mean, there's like this description, yada, yada, yada. And what I like is this. This is the ability to see like the whole stat block of the monster within Roll20. And I'm the kind of guy, I have been playing with my players for, like I told you before, for more than 2 decades, okay? And we're approaching 3 decades playing together. And I mean, I think they have seen literally everything. So my players, I mean, you should not do this with your players because I mean, using the stock monsters of the monster manual is more than enough for them. But my players, they are the kind of guy. I mean, this is why, and I have to say it here. This is why I also play DCC, and why I have this particular video talking about why I like DCC. And one of the things that I like most about it is how deadly it is. And I mean, you know, 5th edition is like has this whole philosophy, which is not exactly opposite to DCC, but just different. And in 5th edition, it's an extremely fun game. And personally, and this is not me saying anything bad about 5th edition, but personally, I believe it is a bit tame to what my players are used to, okay? So, you know, as a dungeon master, in 5th edition, to keep my players pleased, I have to be a bit more deadly. And this is where monster customizations comes from. This is something that you don't have to pay. I mean, if you have the monster manual, but in Roll20, you can also use it. You can also do this. But, you know, I know I was going to talk about app scripts, but, you know, I think this is important. And I have to show you. Because some of my players were asking where I was getting all of these weird monsters. And I said, you know me. I tweak them. And this is something that you can do as well. For your monsters in Roll20. And this is amazing. I mean, as a dungeon master, you can literally grab one of the monsters. You saw how easy it was for me to drop it to the players. But then, for example, you can see here like a Marith Noble. For me, this is like a subspecies of the Marlith, which, I mean, the Marlith is a high CR monster. It's extremely deadly. But my players, they actually enjoy feeling like they are playing Monster Hunter. Yeah, do you remember that old game? Like, there was this guy and he had to fight against these huge, incredibly imposing monsters, and that's the style of play my players enjoy. So, you know, I also enjoy it as well. And so my players, they are not content with wiping the floor with a bunch of monsters of low tier monsters like 10 or 15. No. They usually prefer like a solid boss and perhaps 2 lieutenants, something like that. So just you can understand the type of tire of play that they like. I mean, personally, I think this comes from our old days when we played EverQuest 1 together. I mean, you have even never heard about it. It's an MMORPG that even predates WoW. I mean, WoW is already old. And, well, you can see that EverQuest is even older. And, well, in EverQuest, one of the things that we enjoy when we raided online was, like, getting, like, about 50, 60 people just to kill one guy. And I mean, you had to clear the whole yard trash mobs, and then there was this huge guy, this huge monster that had a lot of AoEs, and I mean, you can get the same experience in WoW and many other modern MMORPGs, but back in the day, this was like wow, it was huge, and I kid you not, these were like 6 hours long raids, 7 hours. I mean, I remember I once spent like 10 or 12 hours. Yeah, it was insane back in the day. And I think we all grew up with that kind of expectations of a monster. So, sorry. So, considering that, my players just really like monsters that are extremely tough, that are extremely deadly. And, well, at this particular tier, this is what they like. So, for example, and just to show you some of the things that I do within Roll20, is that I grab a simple Marlith. I mean, you can have it here, and then I completely begin to edit it. You can edit all monsters here. You can see how easy it is. And I mean, you can change the armor class, you can change how many hit points it has, what the monster saving throws, and even the special abilities. You can add more abilities, you can add more attacks, you can add a lot of things. So for me, I mean, just so you can get another type of background within the game, my players are right now in in a sewer beneath Sigil in the plains, in the planescape setting, which is one of the most favorite AD&D settings. And they actually enjoy that type of trying to travel across the plains. Okay. Yeah, I'm drinking something just to relax, So right now they are exploring this sewer in Undersigil, and I mean it was full of a lot of things. It's a bit complicated. You know how campaigns can be, no? They become more complex as people age within them. And I have literally brought my players from level 1 to level 13, and right now I have to throw at them extremely challenging monsters. So they were like destroying this were-rat shrine hidden in the sewers, and it had it's a shrine dedicated to a rat god. And one of the final traps or defenses, this small shrine to this evil god, was like a trap Marilith, and it was not a regular Marilith, which is a chaotic demon. It's like a serpent woman with 6 arms, and each arm ends in a sword. I mean, I really like this particular monster. Well, they wanted something different. I know. I mean, they don't have to tell me. I know they wanted something like this. This is like one of the mini bosses of the whole dungeon, and they wanted a challenge. So that's what I did. I grabbed this Marilith, completely edited, and created a Marilith novel. It's the same monster. It's extremely more deadly. I completely changed how many hit points it has. I had the saving throws. I completely pump it up. Trust me. The level of power my players have, this monster, it actually, this single monster, it wasn't a piece of cake for them, but it was within their capabilities as a whole group. Okay, so you can see that I even added some particular things. For example, I made the teleportability of the Marilith to be completely at will and cause 0 actions. I mean, it's D&D. You can do anything that you like, but it helped me work in a certain way. And I completely pump. You can see the difference in stats between the regular Marilith and my Marilith novel, which I believe is like a special version of a Marilith. And I completely burn. For example, H longsword is at +9, but this is a demonic longsword. It has an extra +1, but it has an extra 10 feet of reach. Okay, and I did the same for the other attacks, and of course I pumped all of their stats. And this was an extremely epic encounter for them. I mean, they had a lot of fun. I actually managed to completely kill one of them, like in front of them. Like he grabbed the poor druid of the group and completely eviscerated him in front of the other guys, trying to scare them, but they actually became more enraged. It's part of the fun. But this is one of the many things that I like about Roll20 and how it is easy to create custom monsters. And I know I have to go back to the API scripts, but this is something that I truly like about this, and especially in online play. It's so easy. It's extremely easy, and you can see that a lot of my monsters are completely custom made. I don't have, for example, this is a special Otheug. I don't know how it sounds in English, but this is a specially modified Otheug, and it's much more deadlier. And I do the same for all of my monsters. I rarely use stock monsters because, like I said before, my players truly enjoy like bleeding out, and of all the group, only a couple of them standing up at the end and feeling like it was like a fight to the death. Okay, and that's what I enjoy. But back to the APIs. Okay, no. So let's say I threw this monster for them yesterday, and one of the APIs that I truly like is this one, which is the group initiative, and you will see why I like it. I just select all of my players and I select the monsters, or in particular, this is just one monster, but you can select all of the tokens that you like, and then you just run initiative for them, and look what happens. See this gorgeous gorgeous indicator here at the bottom of the player, of the current turn of the player. See, this API creates, first it populates. Okay, it's around 8. Well, you have to reset it. this particular API script creates like a very extremely highly visual initiative counter, and to be honest, I really like it. It's highly visible. You can see it here. It's like a whole it's like this, I don't know, it's like a magic circle of sorts. And guess what? It also populates it here in the chat. Okay, it gives you like a visual of all the people's initiative, and then populates the chat. Now, when I completely pass the turn of the player, he consumes all of his possible actions. Then I go to the next guy or the next monster. I see what happens. The marker automatically goes to this next monster. See, and it populates it. It populates it here in the chat. So it's extremely. I mean, I really like it. I mean, look at this. Pick, pick, and it also helps people visualize whose turn is it to act. And for example, if you don't know, for example, if you are completely zoom out of the map and you don't know, oh my god, where is this guy? You can see, or you can see anybody in the whole initiative list. And you can also, if you hover over him, you can see like a small rectangle. This also helps a lot. And you can see like the step by step of all of the initiative here. I mean, it might sound silly, but I actually like it. It's extremely visual. My players totally love it. I mean, it's super easy. So I just pass the turn and look. It also resizes automatically to the token size. So, I mean, I love it. I love it. So I highly recommend it to people to use it. It really helps. See? And it also adds the counter. See? Now we are going to round 4. Round 4 has begun. I mean, I really love this. I really like this API. It's this particular API script. It's super fun. Super fun. And helps you visualize. Now, there's also another API script that I truly love to use, and which I believe is a time saver. Some of you might know that when you play online, you have to be aware that people have limited time to play and schedule. So anything that saves time, it's, I believe, something that will make the game flow smoother. And I usually try to limit my online sessions to about 4, perhaps 5 hours if people are actually available to play them. And one of the things that I have found saves him a lot of time, besides having this initiative properly visualized here, is making quick saving throws. Now, to do that, all I have to do is, for example, let's say I want to make a saving throw for this monster, and let's say this particular player that I have here. Okay, so I have this special macro that calls up the API script. Okay, and this lets me, based on the token properties, and just to remind you, you can have all tokens relate to a particular character sheet. This is our items, for example. This is my monster. This is the Meredith novel that I told you about before. And for example, this particular Meredith. Okay. Just I was fooling around. This particular, okay, is you know that all of the monsters are tied to a particular monster. So when this API calls for a saving throw, it will check first to which particular character it contains. So the rolls are made according to the stats of the monster or the player. Okay, see, this player is tied to this particular character sheet. Okay, so I just grab these two. For example, I want them both to make a dexterity saving throw. So I just invoke the API script. Okay, and I say, okay, let's make a dexterity save. Blip. See, quick and easy. I get them. I don't have to go physically into the page, into their character sheet, to roll their particular saving throw. For example, dexterity. See? I can make them directly from the page, but I mean it's much easier here with this particular. This is something like I like to call like quality of life tweaks, and things that will make you will make your game run smoother, and that's something that I truly enjoy. This particular tool, like this group check, I mean, you have to make the macro to invoke the API. Let me show you here. Pick. This group check. Here it is. This is the macro. I just I use invoke it, and this is how the macro rolls. Group check, roll with the commands to make it 12. You can, once you install it, it has like a very detailed set of instructions on how to call this particular API, and I totally love it. Now, what else? Okay, now what else do I have here to show you guys? Okay, that was that. Let me see what other kinds of APIs I use. I use group initiative, group check, which is the one I was using, the turn marker. Okay, I also have the token modifier. What this one does? Let me see. Well, I have this one. Just this is like for when I want some of the NPCs to talk. Not necessarily in my voice, that you can do it here, but I just want it to be visual, for example. So I can do this. This is the coloring mode. Test. And this brings like this very small, you can see it here, like a chat box. I mean, it helps sometimes. I mostly use it to fool around. And I mean, you can, as a DM, you can actually impersonate any kind of character, but I mean, this is more colorful, and you can assign all kind of players to have completely different colors. You can see like this test. I mean, I configured all of my players to have completely different colors. Okay, you can do that. Well, it's fun. It's more like I mostly use it to make them to make the players say things like their inner thoughts. Like when they get insights. I mean, it's something simple. I usually mostly to role play within the game, but it also helps a lot. What else do I have here? This is the companion. Okay. Oh yes, this is the 5th edition companion. This is actually quite good. I mean, I'm going to show you why. I mean, this small script completely gives you like a complete liberty on all of your players when you want to invoke certain things. For example, you want your players to have a short rest. Or a long rest, and this particular script completely, for example, it gives you back spell slots. It gives you back hit dice when that you can use between short rest. But if you do a long rest, it can give you back hit dice. It also something that I mostly use it to track ammo. This is one of my NPCs that completely goes. This is the smallest NPC I created that is like a small healing bot, so that you can understand. This is like a small goblin that they once decided to save back when they were level 1, and it has been their faithful companion since then. And this little guy is like a special NPC that I created. It's like a henchman, and he usually helps them by shooting arrows or doing small heals, because it is a level, I think it's a level 3 goblin druid. I mean, it helps. So whenever I want to shoot an arrow, for example, this is one of the things that the script does. You see, he uses his own weapon, okay, the damage, but then you see the script tracks how many arrows he has left. See, and this is one of the other things that the script does. It also, I have a special macro so that it's like here, that you can see it, like a long refresh. I have here the macro. And this macro in particular, what it does is, this is in Spanish, I speak in Spanish, but this is a long rest, or descanso largo. And it completely replenishes spellcasters' spell slots, for example. Okay? It also tracks how many spells each spellcaster has. Now, I made a long refresh. I know my players won't mind if I use them. Like, for example, let's see, my good friend Bantin. He's a wizard, and he's very fond of launching fireballs. Now, you will see this, but let's say he launches a fireball. Yep, a regular standard fireball. Yep. Look at that. Look at this beauty. It completely tracks how many spell slots he has left. See, and it is being consumed. Let's launch, another fireball. Yep. And see, 1 of 3 remaining, and then another fireball. Look at that. It's going to say 0 spell. Now, if he wants to, for example, which has happened and the script has helped us before, but let's say he wants to throw another fireball and he forgot he completely consumed it for the day. Look at this, all slots spent. So this spell is invalid. Okay, and you can see here, like I want to make them refresh. I think it's done automatically, so that you can see what it does. Every time I do a long refresh, see, it completely populated because I told the script that the guys had a long rest, so it completely refreshed all the spell slots he had consumed. See, it's extremely handy. I believe it's one of the most basic AP scripts that you can have, and it's super good. I mean, I really like tracking ammo, and it has led to several funny situations when my rogue, no, I have enough ammo. No, I said, no, you do not. Look at that. Oh, and then, I mean, I know some of you guys like to track things manually, or perhaps do not bother about how many arrows your party has left. But trust me, it leads to ammo conservation. It leads also to a certain sense of being so deep within a dungeon that you cannot go back to replenish arrows, so you begin to use them more sparingly, and creates like a certain level of tension. And what other script do I use? This is something. These two are mostly visual candy. From status effects is a special script that, for example, for me, when people they go below 0 hit points and begin dying, for example, this is something that is actually quite visual, so that they can see what happened. Look at this. Beep. He dies. Look at that. You see that? It is this particular script invokes like a special effects that Roll20 has, and it cycles it every very few seconds. See, it pop again. And for example, let's say the paladin of the group got blinded. Let me see. No, she's blinded. Okay, and yes, there it is. I have like certain particular effects to certain players so that they can visualize their current status or conditions on them. Okay, I mean, just some of the most common conditions. Okay, so what the script does in particular is like show you, you can, like, for example, look at this, the token related to grab. Okay, I made it, I link it within the script so that every time you get that particular token, then a particular effects will play. And thus I can get a lot of things. I mean, effects is like a whole complicated mess within Roll20, but for me it's actually quite fun. You can get all of the effects here. I mean, you can do a lot of the effects. See, this is one of the things that I really like about Roll20, and you can make a lot of fun effects with it. And you can, this particular script gives all of these condition markers generate a particular effect within Roll20, which is, I mean, it's eye candy, but it helps. And this particular script, which I also really like, I mean, I use it a lot. I mean, it's super simple. I mean, some of you might say, oh, what's the whole point in it? It's like a randomizer. I mean, I'm the kind of dungeon master that I really, I mean, I'm totally in love with randomizing everything. Sometimes some of my monsters, I don't even decide what's the most intelligent course of action is. I just grab possible players within the reach of the monster, and then I invoke the fate. I invoke fate, for example, which is the token fate. You see, what this does is something very simple. All of the tokens that you have grabbed within the area, and you invoke this particular app script, it will randomly select one. See? Fate has chosen in the particular moment Outaraf, which is this guy, the poor druid. See? Now it's Lukurt. See? Pick. Oh, poor Lukurt, he got the hit again. Outaraf. And this is Patpiche, which is like the small NPC. I mean, you get the idea. And I use this a lot. Like a lot. I'm the kind of dungeon master that I really like to make things harder for my players because they like it that way. So I use when something bad happens, I usually make chance choose which particular player is going to suffer it. I mean, it's more fun to the players. It's more fun for me. I mean, my players are the kind of players that enjoy seeing open roles from the DM. I mean, this is something not all DMs do, but I mean, when that needs to happen, I just say, okay, let me choose all of you, and then see who fate chooses. See? Anyway, these are most of the API scripts that I do. I mean, I don't need more. I mean, but there are, I mean, if you go into the forums of Roll20, you will see like there's a lot of extremely talented people creating more API scripts, but these are the ones that I personally use. Now, you can see that I also use a lot of macros. I mean, these are the particular macros that I enjoy using. A lot of people use even more macros, and you will realize when you have so many macros that the natural behavior for Roll20 is to make all of the macros be simply a single line that you can then have to scroll to the end. And for this, I use something completely different, which is outside of Roll20. I use stylish. If you don't know what stylish is like I mean, there are whole threads in Roll20 talking about all the things that stylish can do. This particular guy, which I mean, he has a lot of awesome scripts, Keith Cortes. He has created a lot of scripts that make I mean, they completely change the way Roll20 looks. I mean, I mean, you have to watch it by yourselves. For example, look at this. Now, I'm going to invoke stylish. I'm going to say, let me manage all styles. Okay. Now, these are some of the styles I have invoked. But just to give you an example, this is my particular macro, or this is not a macro. This is like a CSS script. I'm going to disable it so you can see the natural behavior of the macro bar within Roll20. You know, I have these macros. You have to do this. I mean, I find that completely annoying. So I use stylish, which is a Chrome extension. It also works in Firefox. And I say, you know what? No, I don't like that. I wanted to roll back, you know, so that it grabs. See, and this is for me much easier because I really don't use that many macros, but the ones I use completely go out of the screen. So I use this. Okay, there are extreme variations to this particular way of using macros. Okay, and for example, let me see if I have it here. There's also, for example, let's say you don't like wrapping bar of the quick bar of the macros. Okay, so let's disable it. Okay, so you like it like this, but you feel these are too small or too large. Sorry, they are too large. So there's also another macro, which is the compare macro bar. Pick. Look at that. It makes them much smaller, and then you have the ability to change this into like emojis or small images. Okay, I mean, I don't like that in particular, but I know some of you might like it. But this is just an example. I actually like this. I like it more like this. Now, some of the other things that the stylish can do for you and make your life much easier is this. I mean, this is like a whole visual show, but I'm going to show it. Let's say you want a particular way of looking at the whole Roll20 page. Look, these are several themes. Okay, let's see this circle transmutation. Look at this. It's completely changed. You see, I now have this particular background. I changes things here. You see, this is something like it's not too intrusive. Okay, it's actually quite nice. I mean, it's actually quite nice, but not particularly what I only installed it just so that you can see what all of the things that you can do with stylish. Okay, this is the vanilla way of showing the page. But let's just say you want a dark theme. Okay, look at this. You can get a completely dark theme. Look at this. See? It changes everything. It completely changes the way it looks. And this is what the stylish does. This is something that I truly like. For example, one of the other things that I like is these larger handout fonts, because I mean, I really like handouts to be extremely big. I really like that. Now, for example, this is like a small folder I have of items that I have given my players. Okay. Now this makes the font much bigger. I really like it. I really like that. But I mean, there are several scripts Okay, you can have a lot of styles. For example, I really enjoyed this one. I mean, the One Ring. No. It was something about sand. Where's that? Okay, here it is. The paper and sand. Look at this. It's actually quite fun if you are into an Arabian setting or something. Look at this. It completely changes the way it looks. Look at this. It's quite nice. Changes the color. I mean, it's fun. And there's also this other one that I like, which is, I think it's the dark. I think it was this one. Look at this. I mean, there was one that changed like the whole way the colors look here. No, it wasn't that one. I think it was this. I also like this one, the dark wooden. Look at this. It changes everything to an even darker color and gives you this particular background. See the background here? It's completely wooden. I mean, it's just cosmetic, but perhaps you might enjoy it. I mean, this is one I really like, but I believe it's too dark for the video. Just you can get an idea. I mean, there are several more. There's also one about the One Ring. I mean, it changes some things. I mean, you can completely watch them in the whole stylish website. For example, this was the one when I installed this one. I mean, the whole website's a bit slow, but it loads eventually. And it okay, look at this. Okay, this is the same thread I was talking to you about earlier. I mean, it's fun. This guy really knows about what he's doing. This is the thread in Roll20. It has all of these amazing macros, okay, that you can use with stylish. I mean, you can so this is more like a heads up for things that you can do to improve your experience. And the API scripts are paywall lock that require you to be like the top tier of subscription. These particular scripts to enhance the way you play, since they come from outside Roll20, they can be used by anybody. Because I know that it can be a bit expensive. You know, I'm going to be honest. My players pay me the subscription, okay, and because it's a bit expensive, and they are the ones that buy the books that they want to use. I mean, hey, sure, why not? But I know it can be a bit expensive, especially, for example, for me. I mean, paying like, I don't know, I know it might sound strange to you guys, perhaps in the United States, where, I mean, minimum wage is bigger, but I mean, paying like, I mean, the extra money monthly, which leads to about $100 a year. I mean, it's a bit much for me, but I don't know, perhaps for you it is not. So I totally say that you grab that. But for me, I know it can be expensive. Like I have been always telling you, you know, not all of us rolling cash and all that amount of money to pay. But this particular set of CSS commands and stylish, they're completely free. You can add them to your own play, to your own game without any kind of issue. And I mean, come on, it's free. I mean, I really like free stuff. I'm going to be honest. I really like it, and it helps if you don't. It also helps enhance the way you play, without having to pay any kind of other subscription. Now, what else can I talk about? About things that I use. Well, this is something that I believe it really helps, because you know I started playing Roll20 with a free subscription, and it has like only like 100 megs, so that you can store things that you like in it. So, but I must confess, with the pro subscription, I have gone completely wild, and I upload a lot of stuff, like a lot. For example, the maps that I was telling you that I make, I love them. I also grab some of the web and some of the ones that I make, and completely load them here into the game. And I also make like custom tokens for some of my monsters, and I mean, it's fun being able to upload them without having to worry about how much space they are going to take. And I mean, that's one of the benefits. But with the 100 megs in the free subscription, I mean, if you know what you're doing and you have like a local copy in your hard drive, you can upload the things that you want for your sessions, and then delete them and upload something new the next. I mean, it can be done. But obviously it's much easier. You have much more space to upload all of the things that you want. You also have to take to know that there are several some of the premium assets that you can get are usually free, and I'm going to be candid with you all. They are more than enough. I mean, I know that several people make a living with them, but I mean, I have to talk like a cheap gamer. Some of the free assets that you get are extremely good, and they also do their job. For example, you have a lot of the free assets that you get. I mean, they have like these nifty tokens that you can drop and drop. You can drop directly here on the map. They do their work perfectly. Personally, I have never bought any set because I believe these guys and the ones included in the monster manual are more than enough. But I mean, if you want a particular kind of look for your tokens, I mean, you can buy them off the marketplace. But the whole free set that comes with Roll20, I mean, I'm repeating myself, they're more than enough. You have like a lot of things here, a lot of monsters, and even the ones that are not exactly the same, you can, I mean, use your imagination and use them. But look, all of these free assets, they're completely free. I think all subscriptions have them. I think I remember having this when I was a completely free subscriber. So, I mean, there's no need to buy anything at the start. But, I mean, if you want to, you can do it. I personally prefer usually to upload my own things, especially my own tokens, because, I mean, I really like that. I really like customizing my monsters. But, like I said again, if you have the monster manual, I mean, you already have all the tokens that you want. I mean, you look for undead. No, in particular on that. I mean, sorry, like a zombie. I mean, all of the monsters in the monster manual, if you buy it, they come with their own pre-made token, and hey, it's fun. It's fun. Look, they are here. Okay, and I mean, no need to buy more, but you can also always make your own. I usually make some of my own as well, but I mean, some of the basic things there comes a point when you don't need much more to play. But I have to confess that the API scripts from the top tier level are actually quite fun, and I use them a lot to save time. They're actually quite fun to do that. Now, what else? I've been talking for a while. I mean, what else do I use? Well, there are certain things that I also use for Roll20, especially when I started, and I'm going to place this particular link here. I mean, these are not so useful to me right now that I have the monster manual, but when I started and I had absolutely zero books, you know, I found this particular place extremely good. I'm going to give the link. It's like, let me read it. It's like gsigbar.com. Well, it's like a whole list of useful tables for Dungeons and Dragons. But the thing, I mean, there are thousands of pages like this. But the thing that I really love about this particular page, especially if you don't have any plans of buying like the pro subscription, is that this page has well, I have to show you. Look at this. Let's say a monster. You look for a monster. You know, you look all of the monsters. It has a very solid monster list and the source. Okay, let's say you want to throw, I don't know, an ambusher. I don't know, what is the Horde of the Dragon Queen? Okay, like an Allosaurus. Oh my god, like a dinosaur. Okay, move it. You want to throw this to your player, so you have zero access to the monster manual. You have zero monies to spend on any kind of subscription. Hey, don't worry. Roll20 with the free subscription lets you, I believe, lets you do like simple macros. Now, oh wow, I have to check that because this is something I used before I had that, but I don't remember if it's tied to that. Let me see. No, let's rather. Okay. It will be like. I think this you use macro. So very sorry if it doesn't work. But hey, let's say you have like a simple subscription, and you don't have the monster manual. You can use this page. Why? Because if you have the ability to create a macro, you just create this. You create a blank macro. I don't. And it says Allosaurus. Okay, whatever. Now. You want to make the Allosaurus, you want to, one of the particular abilities of the Allosaurus is like the pounce, okay? Look at this. You can copy the whole thing directly and paste. Look at this. And then it runs. It runs automatically when you try to test it. Look at this. See? So no need for the monster manual. I mean, you have to do it all of that manually. And hey, but it works. It works, and that's how I used to play at the beginning. Now this is the Allosaurus pounds. See, and then you save the macro. But you want, I don't know. You just want you don't want this particular ability. You just want the bite attack. Okay. You see, you make the new macro. I don't know, whatever, and then you just paste the basic attack, and it works. Look at this. Look at that. Allosaurus bite. This if it has advantage and how much total of damage he does. See, I mean, I love this page. This page saved my life back in the day. And if you cannot make macros, I mean, I think Roll20. I mean, completely. Wow, I really don't know. It's been a while. I mean, it was like it was like in March. And you know, my players, when they decided to fully play D&D, they bought me the monster manual right away. But I had to play for a couple months, and this page saved my life. You know, I sat at the page and I said, you know, today I'm going to throw my players. I want to throw them, I don't know, some skeletons. Okay, there's the skeleton. Okay, bing. Skeleton is the miniature skeleton. No, I want a real skeleton. Tuk, 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 tuk. Oh, look, this is the traditional skeleton because they were low levels. No, I have the whole stat block, and then I have the ability to completely click on a trait or attack to copy to a roll macro to your clever. Look, it's amazing. It's amazing. Look at this. This is so easy. Yay! Like a skeleton. I don't have the monster manual, but I don't care. I have the power of the internet. Look at this. Ding! Oh, look, and a skeleton attack with this short sword. Oh, see, amazing. Super easy. I mean, this is something I had to share with you guys. This page is amazing. It has all of the basic monsters and all of the attacks in macro form. There, where is it? Okay, here it is. All of the attacks in macro form. Look at this. I mean, it can't get any easier than this. Look at that. So all of you budding or starting DMs, there's no excuse for you not to create like a simple Roll20 account and then begin making monsters, and for the whole price of, I don't know, your time, just your time, which is valuable. But I mean, there's no need to pay extra. But I mean, if you have the money, just buy the monster manual. It's easier. But I mean, this is like the cheap option, and you know that I will always try to talk about the cheaper option or the free option. I mean, I know how hard it is to earn money, and I mean, if you just want to relax a bit and not spend any money, or just fool around a bit, I mean, this particular page, I'm going to put it down here so that you can go and visit. I mean, this guy, he has a lot of things here. I mean, this is extremely good. Now, there is also something else that I use to make my time easier in Roll20, and it's this particular. I mean, I have a lot of things here. And it's the Kobold Fight Club. I mean, I really love this page. I'm also going to link it. And what it does, it's just like a super easy, quick visualization of how hard an encounter is going to be to your players. I mean, in this particular segment, you are going to place how many players are going to play the session, what is their current level, for example. Let's say 4 guys, level 1. I mean, and if you have any others with different levels, okay, you can add more. But I have this because, like I told you before, I have like a small NPC henchman, and I mean, he leeches a bit of XP, so that's okay. My players don't care. And okay, so let's remove this one. Okay, no. Now you know that the whole table is telling you that an easy encounter is going to give you 100 XP, a medium encounter 200, a hard one 300, and a deadly encounter is going to give you 400 XP, and they should. This is the daily budget. I mean, they should earn enough XP to raise them a level. So they should, I mean, theoretically, this is not a hard rule, but this is good to have. So let's just say for 4 level 1 guys, what kind of monster I can throw at them? Let's say some zombies. You know, I'm very fond of undead. I love undead. I mean, I've been loving them since the old Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition, and because seeing back in the day my players truly fear vampires. I mean, this is something that doesn't apply today to fifth edition. But back in the day, vampires they actually were able to drain you in levels. I mean, that was nasty. I mean, back in the day, it was nasty. And I mean, there were several monsters that level drained you, and it was a pain for them to face undead. And I only threw them sparingly, especially level draining ones. And well, but my players respected them. Every time they saw a monster that they knew drain levels, oh my god, they truly began to sweat. And well, of course, it does not work the same way in 5th edition because, 5th edition has a completely different philosophy, which is quite good as well. But like I told you before, I come from the old school. But I love that. That was the whole point of me remembering that. So let's focus on this particular issue. Okay, so you have 4 level 1 guys, and you don't know how many zombies to throw at them. So you just begin throwing them zombies, and you see, pick. Okay, 1 zombie. 1 zombie is super easy for them. 2 zombies, yes, it's now easy for them. Now let's just say you want to add another zombie. Oh, it's becoming hard. This encounter is going places. It's hard for them, and they will earn this amount of this amount of XP. This is the total XP of the monster, and then this is the adjusted XP, which is more or less. These 2 guidelines show you how much raw XP the monster gives, and how much XP you should give as a DM to your players, so to make them rise faster in levels. Okay, so well, this is something that a lot of people have several opinions and different opinions. In my case, and this is just me, I mean, a lot of people will say, oh no, you suck, why did you do that? I mean, this is my opinion. Personally, I believe that more than you having to focus on monsters and how many monsters you have and creating, 5th edition is much more streamlined, and I believe that your players should advance, especially if you're playing online, every 4 sessions, regardless of the monsters. Why? Because it gives them a solid rate of advancement. It makes them feel like they're actually doing something good, and they're racing quite fast. This is me. I mean, if you want your guys to be level 1, level 2 for 10 sessions, 20 sessions, forever, I don't know. Hey, that's you. That's your decision. Personally, I like my players to rise fast. Especially in 5th edition. I'm not that benevolent in other editions. For example, if just to show you an idea, back in the day, I know I sound like an old guy, but I'm an old guy. Back in the day, the old XP tables, let players level so slowly. Oh my god, it was so slow. It was so slow. I mean, I remember once playing with my guys from level 1 to level 12, and it was 2 whole years playing all weekends. I mean, that was when I was younger and my friends had much more time, me as well. But I mean, come on, let's face it, in this day and age, especially if you play online, personally, I believe that every 3 to 4 sessions, I can say that even 3 to 4 sessions, you should let your players rise in level. I mean, but if you are completely going by the book, I mean, this particular web page will give you an idea of how tough an encounter is going to be for a player, and how much XP you have to give to them. See? And this is something completely outside of Roll20, but it helps. It helps visualize. And this is something with the experience that you will not need to visualize so much. But even myself, after having played for so long, I still usually use this particular webpage, which I completely love. I mean, kudos to the Kobold Fight Club, the same as kudos to the other guy that gives all the macros. I mean, these guys make playing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition a bliss. I mean, they make all of these tools. I mean, they're amazing. They're amazing. Now, for example, in this same encounter, 4 level 1 guys, and you throw at them in a single encounter, just 3 zombies. You know that they might sweat a bit. If you throw another, you know that they will probably expend a lot of their resources, and they will probably have harder time with another encounter similar to this one. And now let's say you say, oh my god, the ogre zombie sounds so good. How about I throw them one of those? Okay, let's see. Pick. Now you see that a single ogre zombie for a group of 4 level players, it's in the deadly category. I mean, especially if they have expended some of their spells and abilities in previous ones. So see, this gives you like a rough idea of what you have to throw at them, and I believe this particular page is extremely helpful. It has a lot of monsters. You can actually see what sources you can get, and if you have particular models. I mean, I use this a lot. To find, for example, since my players are already in a certain tier of power, I mostly look for monsters that begin at 0-8. See, and it gives me all of the 0-8 monsters, and this gives me ideas. And then I see if I own that particular module in or book in Roll20. For example, I don't have I don't think I have the Bolos Guide to Monsters. I haven't checked it. It's been a while. Like I told you, I only use custom monster, but sometimes I want something extra. And I like the chain devil. I know I have it because I know I have the monster manual. But this particular guy, I don't. It's corpse flowers from more than Cane Stone Foes, which I don't have, so it's okay. I know I won't use that, but I can even filter it even more. But if you're playing on a regular tabletop or on Roll20, this particular page really helps a lot finding monsters, especially in a particular difficulty rating. I mean, I love this. I love this page. This is one of the other pages that I really use a lot. And for Roll20, this is another page that I'm also going to link it here because I'm giving you some of the tools that I use. And this particular guy, which is the Donjon page. I mean, he has this something that I also like a lot. Okay, this is something that I really enjoy giving to my players. And when it comes to giving players treasure, there are several schools of thought on how you should give them treasure. I mean, a lot of dungeon masters they love to create like this completely thought up adventure where they will find a particular magical item that they believe is important. That's one way of doing it. Then there's the whole other stream of how I do things, because I mean, that's me. I completely love randomness. I mean, I give players treasure on the spot. Yeah. I mean, it's how my players like it. I mean, because I mean, I can give them like a fixed treasure. I mean, they will enjoy it, but I know my play. I mean, I believe deep down, and this is something between you and me. I believe deep down that they are gambling addicts because they truly, completely love to roll random treasure on the spot. Yeah, they totally hate me. Oh, look, this is a Longsword +2, and it has a particular boring. I just want to roll the dice and see what I can get. And for that, I have a lot of tables. And one of the ways that helps me is this random generation of treasure. I make them roll in the very extremely old table of D&D. I mean, call me old-fashioned, but oh my god, I love using this table. This is the treasure table for all D&D first edition. And I mean, it's all, but I make them roll a 100 die, and then they on the result I know what they get. I mean, they already dread rolling to the 20s or the low 30s because they know it's going to be a potion or a scroll, but they like it that way. I mean, they like it that way. What can I say? And as a DM, I have to accommodate them to a certain extent, so I do it like this. So they usually roll on this old table. And then let's say they got a ring. Oh my god, they got a ring. Yay. So if they got a ring, I just go here. I mean, does this have rings? I mean, remember I have a very special page for rings. Let's say magic items. There it is, rings. See? And then this page generates of the standard treasure tables from 5th edition. I mean, it's amazing. After I make them roll 100 dice, I make them roll a 10-sided die so that they can get this completely random. And some of my friends love it. Others they completely don't care. I mean, so some of my players just play to have fun, not about the magic trip. But some of my players actually enjoy having to roll for the. I mean, that's how they have got so many interesting treasures and treasure that is not so much fun. But I mean, they like it that way, and that's is how I do it. Perhaps it can help you. So these three particular web pages. I mean, it's something that I totally use every time I play Roll20, and it helps. So I'm going to link them to you so that you can have some more tools of the trades, which is something that I use. And I think that's it. Yep. I mean, I can talk about more of the things that I do, but this is more or less I want to show you what things I use that you might find useful. And again, yes, I think that's totally it. I mean, I told you about stylish, about the APIs, when you pay more, about making your own custom tokens. Yes, making your own custom monsters. Sorry. What else? I think is more of. I think this covers the basic of what I use. I mean, I hope it has been helpful to you. And yeah, I mean, right now after this, I think I'm going to start making some new monsters for my players to die and have fun. You know, I also, as a side note, these two guys, like I told you, this was like a goblin that they saved for one reason or another when they were low level and decided to accompany them. And then this is like a paladin that I knew they needed to have like an extra. I mean, this is like when in a show you invite like an actor only to play on some episodes. This is exactly this paladin, and this guy has always been with them. I believe that adding sometimes like an extra NPC that the players can use helps the players, especially if they all want to play warriors, for example, and then no one can heal. And this is what I call heal bots. So I sometimes add this because my players just want to whack things and see the world burn and just throw fireballs at everything. And I mean, I have one single player that plays as a cleric. I mean, one of my longtime friends, but he played as a cleric because he knew nobody else was going to play one, and he has never played a cleric, so he decided to make one. But just considering that, I knew that I always give my players the option to play any kind of class they want. And the whole mechanic of hit die, spending hit die to heal yourself in short rest is also quite good. But you know, just also as an extra idea, if you give your players like an extra NPC that travels with them for a bit, or perhaps for a while, I don't know, it can help plug the gaps in some of the things that they might miss. So for example, if nobody's playing a wizard is always helpful. If nobody's playing a healer is always helpful, etc., etc. And I do that constantly with my players. And this is something, oh, you know, I think I can do another video explaining some of the things that I do. Yeah, I think I got that idea, but this video is already too long, so I'm not going to talk anymore. You know that I really like to talk a lot. And some of you guys that enjoy watching my videos, I know that you know that already. But if you are new, I mean, you are probably bored by now. But I mean, I just love to talk about this. I mean, this, and I know that you too. If you are watching this video, you know, I really enjoy all of these neat gadgets that I have recently discovered that add to the hobby, and which is playing online. And you see, these are some of the things that I use, and yes, these are tools of the trade as well. So if you enjoyed this video, remember, click like, subscribe, the usual. And you know, I have like a previous video which is called Tools of the Trade. I'm going to call it that one, part 1, and this one is going to be part 2. And I know there's going to be a part 3 where I'm going to talk about some of the things that I do for my players that make the game more fun, especially if you are completely new. And I mean, I have so much, I have experience just by inertia, you know, not because, oh wow, no. I mean, I have been playing for so long that there are certain things that for me come naturally, but that I know for starting DMs, when they might feel overwhelmed. And again, I hope that you like these videos. I hope they help you. And if not, well, at least I hope you enjoy listening to me babble for so long, okay? Well, guys, again, much love to everybody. Have fun. You can always find me here in the channel. I always like to answer back to everybody. And if you have an idea about things that you want me to talk about, or things, I mean, my production values, I know that I don't have many editing tools at all, but I just try to talk and show you basic things. And if you have any kind of idea or suggestion or topic that you want me to discuss, please write back. I'm always looking at the page, and I love hearing feedback, because at the end, this is a very niche hobby, and we have to help each other. That's why I call all of you my great role-playing tribe members, because we have to help each other. We have to share our ideas, and if there is anything I can do for you guys, sure, ask me up. If it's within my purview or my power to do it, I will gladly do it and talk about it and talk at length about it. You know how I am. So again, much love to everybody. Have fun and have a wonderful day or a wonderful weekend wherever you guys are. Okay, bye.